So, how do you know after a breakup if you're in denial? So, this is actually really common sometimes at the very beginning, as you know, we're super confused about the situation. Somebody might have left us, and we have all these questions. And a part of our brain might not even be ready to deal with the reality just yet. Or maybe we ended it and we finally were ready, or something sudden happened, and our brain just hasn't adjusted yet to actually accepting that this person is not in our lives anymore. So, if you're in denial, like, here are some things to look for. Because denial doesn't always look exactly like you think it does. It doesn't mean that you're walking around going, this isn't real, this isn't real. It actually looks more like, calling it just a break or a pause when it's really a breakup because some red line has been crossed, whether, verbal abuse or physical abuse or something like that, something that ended up being very toxic that you can't go back from. And we can have a really hard time accepting that this person, has crossed this boundary that we had and that we can't go back from it. Or other times, you could be telling yourself, okay, we just haven't talked about this enough. We have to, reach some understanding, when maybe you've already done this so many times and you're not able to get on the same page or find the other person's perspective. And sometimes there's just a point of no return where you're talked to death, you're going around in circles, you're not solving, you're not, negotiating, you're not coming to any agreements. You're saying things like, once things calm down, and when they realize, or, as soon as they change, or if I'm not there, they'll miss me or whatever. There's all these kind of like, negotiating that we do with ourselves sometimes that like can really mean that we're not willing to accept the reality of what's happening. Maybe you even keep the door kind of cracked open, by telling yourself that you're not dieting or something, or maybe you're still connected to their Instagram and you're sending them stuff. Or maybe you are still friends because you can't actually bring yourself to really pull the plug on the whole thing. So you kind of stay in this availability limbo from staying friends with them, and you keep talking and being available for them, but without the actual relationship being there. And it's kind of a back and forth denial and negotiation with yourself that you're not maybe able to accept it. Hi, my name is Andrea Hunt, and I'm an EFT tapping coach based in Munich, but I do online workshops and online sessions on Zoom. I help people heal through their breakup, and belief wounding that comes after the heartbreak to rebuild their confidence. So follow me for videos about confidence, self-worth, or solo travel after a breakup. This is one of my favorite topics because I made all the mistakes so that you don't have to, so you can learn from me. And this is part 2 of the Real Stages of Heartbreak series. So think about this and ask me, or tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you maybe not deleted the photos yet from your phone, or at least put them in a folder somewhere? Do you still have all the decorations up that they gave you maybe? And you think about it and you're like, yes, I will get rid of those. I'll put those. But like, there's a part of you that just can't bring yourself to do it just yet. You just tell yourself, okay, not today. Or maybe like, you still have their number like in your phone. You haven't gotten rid of their social media contacts and stuff like that. And you think to yourself, oh, what if they need to reach me? Maybe you're keeping your weekends open, just in case they want to talk or something like that. And maybe you're staying friends because cutting them off completely would just feel too painful. And there is that period at the very beginning where you really do need that space to be able to see things clearly. And at the beginning, that person being, in your conversations or your DMs on a regular basis doesn't allow you to have that time and reflection to really see things accurately always. So here's the thing, you might not even be doing these things on purpose. Most of the time we're not, we're coping with this in a way that we can, in a way that feels safe to us. And not admitting means that we don't actually have to look at the pain of losing that person. So there's a reason why our brain is doing this, why our heart is trying to protect itself. But in the end, it doesn't end up being very healthy. So your brain is, keeping you confused on purpose. And the confusion can protect you from the full loss of what's happening. And when it's grave, when it's vague, you don't actually have to grieve completely what that loss feels like. So this is where EFT tapping helps, because it doesn't force you into acceptance. It allows you to dig around your feelings, dig around your thoughts, and be able to use EFT tapping to calm the nervous system so that you can get out of the fight, flight, or freeze response that's keeping you kind of like, nope, it's okay, it's fine, like we're just friends and everything is going to work out. And kind of this, I hate to say it, but kind of lying to yourself, that denial that protects us from the truth. Because you can't move through something that you're not acknowledging. And the tapping allows you to articulate your feelings, articulate the negative emotions, and be open to releasing them and letting them go, moving through the healing process so that you can get out on the other side. So if this sounds like something that you might need, please reach out, because this holiday I do have some openings. The holidays are a very difficult time. Unfortunately, for going through a breakup, or if something just fresh happened, it can be very difficult over the holidays when you have family gatherings, you have friend gatherings, maybe you have a family with kids and everything like that, and all sorts of situations that can just lead to extra stress and also feelings of loneliness and sadness over the holidays. So like and subscribe to me if you want to learn more about how you can deal with your breakup, how you can manage your feelings, and how to work with me using EFT tapping. Okay, see you next time.